Hey everybody, I'm going to go ahead and get situated. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I haven't been to the studio for several days. I want to apologize. I thought that I was getting better last week and then things didn't go so well. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm on the mend. Let's see. Crazy wind here today. You can see by my hair, but then again, I think all of our hair looks pretty crazy these days, unfortunately. But I'm glad to be back, and I had some inspiration for the practice today, just a basic Hatha class from hours and hours of scrolling through social media, and obviously I follow Yoga Journal, and they created this sequence, which I've modified a little bit. Excuse me, they've created this sequence to kind of inspire a daily practice. It's really easy to not come to the mat every day. It's hard to come to the mat every day, and we all need inspiration and motivation, especially right now. So I thought this would be a good sequence to bring onto YouTube. And I like it so much that I can see when I kind of get lost, yoga teachers get lost too. A lot of times we lose our daily practice. I think it's a nice sequence to just come back to and do every day. So with that being said, I think I'm going to turn the air conditioner on in here real quick before we get started. You can go ahead and begin in Shavasana, a corpse pose, lying down on the back. Maybe let the hands go wide, let the feet go wide, and start to settle in here. Start to find a comfortable place and comfortable rest for the body as we begin in opening meditation. And I am going to turn the air on real quick. Excuse me. Let's see if I can get this thing to actually work. Uh-oh. Sorry, y'all. I should have done this before I started class. Okay, great. The air is on. We are in Shavasana. Oh, and one other thing, I'm going to do the practice with you as best I can. Somehow last week when I was running, I hurt yet another area of my body, so my knee is really swollen. I'm not getting around very easily. It's actually hard to walk. So anyway, just bear with me as I move through the poses. And a lot of times in the practice, you might want to hold the pose longer. You can pause the video. Feel free to always do that if something feels good for you. And yeah, I think that's it. So go ahead and settle in. Start to come to the mat. Allow yourself to be here mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Just let yourself come to this space. Give yourself permission to be here. And allow yourself to feel complete joy in this moment. A lot of you might feel similar to how I do when I come back to the mat. It's almost like coming back to my best friend. My mat is my best friend. And so allow yourself here to feel that closeness with the mat, as silly as it sounds. And allow yourself to feel the energy around you, wherever you might be, whatever space you might be in. And start to notice what's happening in the mental body and the physical body. Notice the breath. Start to feel the breath. My breath is a little jagged and erratic right now because I think I'm nervous, because I've taken several days off. So just feel the breath. Feel the breath flowing into body. Feel the breath leaving the body. And as you do this, continue to observe the mind. Try to let everything go. Mentally release and soften the entire body from the tippy toes to the crown of the head. And whatever's happening in the mental space, just let it be there. Let it be. I know we're all thinking here probably about the same things, and we're having moments of joy, moments of fear, sadness, moments of excitement. So let it all kind of swirl around in the head and acknowledge it. Try not to get attached. Try not to judge yourself here. And then when you're ready, let it all go. Send it out to the universe. Swaha. Let it go. And come back to the body, noticing how every place and space in the body feels as the breath flows in and flows out. Continue to release and soften as best you can. Really notice those areas of tension and try to let go and use the breath to help you do that. Feel the breath. And as you find the breath, I want you to stay relaxed, but a little bit of personal information. I had a full-blown panic attack last week, and I was reminded to find the breath. So today, maybe just count the inhalations and count the exhalations. They don't have to match. You don't have to pause. One doesn't have to be twice as long as the other. You don't have to do it any specific way, other than maybe if it's available. I know the allergies are really bad right now, but try to breathe in through the nose and out of the nose. And all I want you to do is just count. Bring the mind into focus with that counting of the breath. And as you focus on your breath, remember here today, this evening, this morning, wherever you are in your day, remember to love you and love your practice. Love your practice for what it was yesterday, what it will be tomorrow, and most importantly, love your practice for what it is right now, here in this moment. Love it for what it is teaching you, showing you, and giving you. Right here in these very scary times. We always have the mat to come back to. So with that being said, again, you can pause the video whenever you need to, hold Shavasana as long as you need to, and then we'll go ahead and get started in Balasana, Child's Pose. I know that so many of you might be beginners, so I'm going to try to instruct as best I can while I show you. So in Child's Pose, we have wide knees and the toes are touching, and then go ahead and bring the head down to the mat. If you can't get the head down to the mat, you can always bring in a block, a blanket, blankets, pillows, a bolster, whatever you need here. And just find the breath in the pose. And with each full breath, start to allow the body to completely settle. Really let those hips settle down onto the heels. And as you hold Balasana, also I wanted to point out, you can, if you're having issues with the knees, you can always do Balasana supine on the back. And you can also add things in between the calves and the backs of the thighs if you need to elevate the hips a little bit more. This might be too much for your knees, and that's okay. So when you're ready, go ahead and come out of Balasana, and we'll come into Virasana, Hero's Pose. I like to place a block underneath, again, because of my cranky knees. And if you're sitting on the heels, make sure the heels are a little bit wider than the hips in Hero's Pose. And again, just find some stillness here. Rest the hands wherever's comfortable. Find length in the spine, similar to what we do in Sukhasana, our comfortable, easy seat. And a lot of times I have a tendency to kind of push my bum out and arch the lower back. So draw the core in here, squeeze the belly button toward the spine, relax the shoulders back and down, allow the chin to be parallel with the floor, and pause. Find the breath. And again, if Hero's Pose is too much for you, go ahead and lay down on the back, bring the legs together, draw the knees into the chest, and hold, continuing to squeeze the core, and you can feel the length of the spine, even on your back. Visualize the energy moving up and down that lengthened spine, flowing through the energy channels in the body. And if you have a prop, go ahead and set it aside. We're going to come into tabletop here. So we want hands under shoulders, knees are under hips. You can tuck the toes, you can have the feet flat on the mat. And go ahead and arch the back, push the floor away, coming into Marjariasana, cat pose. And pause here. Really squeeze the belly button toward the spine. And from here, keep that arched back. Walk the hands forward a few inches of the shoulders. Now tuck the toes and shift the hips high to downward facing dog. Really press into the fingertips to take the weight out of the wrists. You can pedal out the feet. Continue to squeeze the core. If it feels good, the feet can be as wide as the mat here. Just find your comfortable inverted V position, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Whatever that means for you, really try to let the head and neck go. The heels might never touch the mat, that's okay. You can always have a slight bend in the knees if you feel like this allows you to lengthen the spine more. I love this inversion, man, but I am feeling it today. Holy moly. Woo. And then go ahead and bend the knees, staying in this Adho Mukha Svanasana position. Bend the knees. Bring the belly toward the tops of the thighs. Go ahead and straighten the legs again, Adho Mukha Svanasana, and then roll forward to Phalakasana, plank pose. So shoulders again are stacked over wrists. Really squeeze through the core, engage through the entire leg. Try to keep the gaze down at the mat to protect the cervical spine. And then lower the knees, widen them, come back into Balasana. But this time, have that block handy. And if you can, bring the hands back toward the feet here. I'm going to bring my head down to the mat because I have cork blocks and it's not comfortable. Really let the head and neck and shoulders go here. You all stay where you are. I'm going to switch sides. On your inhale, go ahead and come up through tabletop. I'm going to grab my knee pad. And we're going to come into low lunge, Anjaneyasana. So the left leg goes back. You can see my knee is down. The front leg, the right leg, is at a 90-degree angle, if that's available. It's fine to be above the ankle or slightly behind. You never want the knee to be in front of the ankle. So find your Anjaneyasana and bring the hands to heart center. You can see my back toes are tucked. You can always have the feet flat on the mat here. Continue to squeeze through the core. flexor. Feel strong in this balancing pose. Don't be intimidated or shocked if you're shaking here. You all stay here. I'm going to grab my blocks. Have your blocks handy for this next pose. We're going to just come off the knee, lift up, coming into pyramid pose. So scooch the left foot in a little bit. You want the toes pointing toward the left corner of the mat here. And again, find your blocks. Feel the length in the spine. First, maybe you stay here. Maybe you draw the nose toward the knee. Continue to draw that right hip back, squaring off the hips. Really let the head and neck go if you're bent forward. Inhale to lengthen the spine once more, and go ahead and lift the body up, the upper body up, coming into Virabhadrasana 1. So the right knee again is going to be bent. That back left foot is kind of at a 45-degree angle, but your upper body, your hips are going to be square forward. So find Warrior 1. Lift the arms up, overhead. Externally rotate through the shoulders. Turn those pinkies in toward one another. And then bend at the elbows, bringing prayer hands behind the head here. Draw the elbows toward the head. Find some stillness. Feel the strength in this pose. And however you want to get there, go ahead and step forward into Urdhva Hastasana. Reach the arms overhead. Again, externally rotate through the shoulders. Turn the pinkies in toward one another and really extend the fingertips toward the ceiling here. And then bring the elbows to the waist. Bring the palms together. Squeeze the elbows in, draw the shoulders back and down. And we'll step the right foot forward again, coming into Utthita Parsvakonasana. We're going to do extended side angle with the right leg forward. So again, you're finding that 90 degree, the knee over the ankle. You can see my back foot is turned at a 90 degree angle. Squeeze through the core here, and you have options here. You can either bring the elbow down to the knee and extend the arm overhead, or you can find a block and you can keep the hand on the hip, you can extend it overhead, you can reach it up to the ceiling. So find your Utthita Parsvakonasana, your extended side angle. And again, come up, bring the feet together in Tadasana. So the feet can be hips width distance, they can also be as wide as the mat. Go ahead and fold into Uttanasana. You can always generously bend the knees here. Let the head and neck go. You can rest your hands on the mat. If you can't reach the mat, bring something in to ground the hands. That's always nice. Feel the calming effects of this pose. And however you'd like to get there, go ahead and come down into this prone position on the belly. Have the blocks handy here. And you're going to bend the elbows, bringing them into a goalpost arms or goddess arms, and just place the elbows on top of the blocks, and then lower your head down to the mat. Feet distance here, they can be wider if you have any pinching in the lower back. And take several deep breaths here into the belly. And set the blocks aside. We'll come back up into Balasana, child's pose. Widen the knees, let the feet come to touch, and then bring the forehead down to the mat. Inhale to come forward through tabletop. Extend the legs into plank pose. Then lower the knees, but keep the upper body lifted. You can be here in high cobra. If you want to do Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog, just lift the knees off the mat. And then find some stillness here. Try to keep those heels in line with the hips. And from here, down dog, tuck the toes, shift the hips high. You can pedal out the feet again. Find your Adho Mukha Svanasana, your downward facing dog. And on the inhale, lift the right leg, coming into this three-legged dog. Keep the hips square here. And then send that foot forward, coming again into Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Bring the hands overhead, clasp them, and point the forefingers, the index fingers, toward the ceiling. Remember to squeeze through the core. Bring the hands down to the mat. Tuck the toes. Come into this runner's lunge position. Turn the back feet so that the toes are at 90 degrees. And then lift up into Trikonasana triangle. So we straighten our right leg. Hinge from the hips. Maybe you bring that right hand to a block. Maybe it comes to the shin. You can reach the arm overhead, maybe gaze at the fingertips here. And from here, come back up. Turn the hips square in front of you. Coming into, again, Virabhadrasana A, Warrior One. Extend the arms overhead first, and then bring those prayer hands behind you. And you can bend as far as you can into that front leg. Extend the arms overhead. Turn that back foot so that the toes are both facing forward. Come down into a runner's lunge. And then step that right foot back. Extend it overhead into this three-legged dog. Lower the foot. Roll forward to plank. Come down onto the belly. However you'd like to get there, you can always modify. Widen the legs for child's pose. Bring those blocks in. Rest the elbows on the blocks this time. And bring the head down to the mat. I want you all to stay here. I'm going to come out of the pose. If it gets uncomfortable having the elbows on the blocks, just go ahead and, excuse me, find your child's pose, whatever that is for you. Susan, this is for you because it is not easy doing this practice while I'm teaching you guys. Oh my gosh. And go ahead and come out of Balasana. We'll take Virasana again, Hero's Pose. You guys can see now that we've done the right side of the body how you can get used to doing this as a daily practice. There's some good movements, some strengthening, some opening and stretching. We get the standing poses in, balancing. It's a different, well-rounded Hatha sequence. That's why I like it. It's just different. And it spoke to me. So go ahead and come into tabletop again. We'll move into Marjariasana, our cat pose, arch the back. Really let the head and neck go. Tuck the toes, walk the hands a couple inches forward of the shoulders, and shift the hips high to down dog. You can pedal out the feet. Man, did I tell you before I love this pose? I've actually changed my mind. If you're gonna do any poses, 1, 2, or 3 every day, I would say down dog, maybe 4. Down dog, forward fold, child's pose, and Viparita Karani, legs up the invisible wall. Bend the knees here, staying in down dog. Bring them as low as you want. Obviously, the lower, the harder. And then straighten the legs. Roll forward to Phalakasana, plank pose. Keep those shoulders over the wrists here. Engage through the core. Lower the knees, widen them. Again, bring your head to a block here. You can bring the hands behind you. I'm going to set my block aside because it's a cork block, and I don't feel like putting a blanket over it. And I want to add here for you beginners that if this is not comfortable for you, feel free to do it on your back by just drawing the knees toward the armpits and just holding wherever is comfortable, behind the thighs, the shins. You can also bring the legs together for our more flexible, less soft tissue people, if that feels comfortable. That was for you. And bring the head down to the mat. Arms can be forward, they can be back. You can stack the hands, resting the forehead on the stacked hands. And again, with each full breath, each inhalation and exhalation, let the hips sink a little bit deeper. And when you're ready on the inhale, come up through tabletop. I'm bringing my knee pad in again here. I don't know how this is going to go. Let's see. I tried it earlier. My knee is really unstable. You can tuck the back toes. Again, they can be flat on the mat. Find your Anjaneyasana, your low lunge. Just make sure that front knee is either directly above the ankle or slightly behind here. Extend the arms overhead. Find your Urdhva Hastasana arms. Externally rotate through the shoulders. Draw the pinkies in toward one another. And then bring your prayer hands behind the head. Even though we're arching the back, continue to squeeze the core in here. And then make sure you have your blocks handy. Tuck the back toes if they aren't already. Shift the hips high. Coming into pyramid pose. So the right toes are at an angle toward the right corner of the mat. Hips are square here, so you can see what I'm doing. Find the length in the spine, and either stay here or start to bring the nose toward the knee. Try to keep both legs straight, so you might need to adjust. Maybe you have to widen the feet a little bit, like train tracks, that's okay. Just allow yourself to settle here into the pose. If you're bent over, really relax through the head and neck. And on your next inhale, lengthen the spine. Step the right foot back a couple of inches, coming into Virabhadrasana A, Warrior One, on the left side. So again, the front knee is bent at a 90-degree angle. The back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Back leg is straight. Square off the hips. Extend the arms overhead. And then again, find those prayer hands behind the head. Continue to sink lower into that front leg. And feel the strength through the entire body in this pose. However you'd like to get there, step forward into Urdhva Hastasana. Reach the arms overhead first. Feel that length reaching from the tippy toes to the fingertips. Continue to squeeze through the core. Externally rotate the shoulders, drawing the pinkies in toward one another. And then bring the elbows to the waist. You can always have feet together here. You can have them hips width distance. Keep squeezing through the core. Again, find the length in the spine, reaching from the tailbone to the crown of the head. You can bring the hands to the hips, step that left foot forward again, coming into that 90-degree angle with the left knee. The back foot is at a 90-degree angle. We're going to find that Utthita Parsvakonasana, our extended side angle. You have options here, right? Or you can bring the hand to a block behind you. Just find your extended side angle. If the left elbow is resting on the knee, just make sure you're not dumping into that shoulder. You see the difference? And take this arm, whether it's up here, really extend through those fingertips again. If you want more of a challenge, you can always extend both arms. Bring the right hand to the hip, come back up, and we'll just come into standing forward fold wherever you are. Again, feet can be wide. Fold the body forward. Knees can always be generously bent here. Really relax through the head and neck. If you want to, go ahead and inhale, lengthen the spine a few times. Exhale, fold. Inhale to lengthen, find that lengthened spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway rise. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Go ahead and walk the hands forward, coming into plank. Stacking shoulders over wrists. Hold your plank. And when you're ready, however you'd like to get there, you can always lower the knees first. You can just come down all the way to the belly, resting in this modified crocodile. Have the blocks handy. We make goalpost arms here, our goddess arms. So the elbows are bent at a 90-degree angle. And rest the head down on the mat. Feet are at least hips width distance here. Again, they can be as wide as the mat. You all stay in the pose, I'll come out. And continue taking some deep breaths on the belly. When we do our deep breathing in this prone position, it really allows the lungs to expand completely. So it's a really nice thing to do, especially for those of you with lung issues, whether you have asthma, allergies. Lay down on the belly, take several deep breaths. Because gravity is pulling us down on top of all of that, we really have to work harder to expand the lungs. And that's where the benefit is. Go ahead and come out of our modified crocodile into child's pose once more. So again, feet are wide, toes can be touching. Rest the head on the mat, arms can be up or down. I mean forward or back. Stay in the pose. I'm going to come out of it so that I can talk and breathe. With each full breath, let the hips sink a little deeper. And then on your next inhale, draw the body forward into, again, this tabletop position. So knees are under hips, shoulders are over wrists. Toes can be tucked, the feet can be flat on the mat, it doesn't matter. Before moving into our cat pose, keep that core engaged. Lower the belly, lift the tailbone, chest, and chin, coming into Vithalasana. Exhale, round the spine to cat, Marjariasana. Inhale, draw the chest forward, open that heart space. Exhale, round the spine. Really push the floor away here. Push the floor away. Inhale one more time to cow, happy cow. Exhale to cat, round the spine, hold the pose. Walk the hands forward, extend the feet, hold Phalakasana plank. Lower the knees and come into high cobra or upward facing dog by lifting the knees off the mat. I'm staying down in high cobra, and you notice that I walked my hands back underneath the ribs. Allow the spine to find all of its natural curves. Even though the back is arched, keep that gaze forward to keep that natural curve of the cervical spine. Come into tabletop. We'll move into Anjaneyasana, low lunge again. Send that left foot forward. The knee is bent at this 90-degree angle. And this time, reach the hands overhead, bring the index fingers to touch. We're clasping the hands here, and point those index fingers toward the ceiling. This feels so good, opening up through that right hip flexor, oh my. Bring the hands down to blocks, preferably if you have them. Tuck the back toes, come up into this runner's lunge position. Turn the toes to that 90-degree angle. Straighten the front leg and lift up into this Trikonasana or triangle pose. You can bring the hand again to the block. Extend the right arm overhead, maybe gaze toward the ceiling here. I wrote my whole class in Sanskrit and I can't read my handwriting. Lovely. Really allow the chest space, that heart space to open. So you're twisting, bringing those left ribs to right. Bring the right hand, the top hand to the hip, engage through the core, lifting back up, coming into, again, Virabhadrasana A, Warrior One. So the hips are square, facing forward. You might have to widen the legs here in order to square off the hips. The hips don't need to be perfectly square, they need to be square-ish. The back toes are at a 45-degree angle. Again, we're bending into this front knee. And this time, go ahead and extend the hands overhead again. I'm clasping my hands. You can find a place for the hands that is comfortable for you. If that's at your hips, that's fine. Prayer center, doesn't matter. We're finding that strength here through the lower body, and we're balancing. We really are balancing here. And go ahead and bring the heels in line with one another again, coming into Utthita Parasva Konasana, extended side angle. Bend into that knee. Extend the right arm overhead. Maybe it stays, ooh, excuse me, I'm getting a muscle cramp, overhead, reaching toward the ceiling. Find your extended side angle. Bring the arms down to blocks or to the mat. And go ahead, and I forgot to do this earlier, step up into this three-legged dog. Square off the hips. Lower the left leg. You can pedal out the feet here. And then find some stillness. Roll forward once more to plank. And however you'd like to get there, come down to the belly. Rest the head on the stacked hands in crocodile, feet or hips width distance or further apart. And just for a moment, go ahead and roll onto your back. Just because, excuse me, I'm a little anal, I want to go ahead and do a supine spinal twist before we end the class. So bend the knees, bring the feet toward the bum, slightly shift the bum to the right as the knees lower together to the left. Maybe you hold the leg like I am. Maybe the gaze goes out toward that right hand. Allow the body to settle here. Maybe if you want to go a little deeper, you want to stretch through that right leg, grab the big toe with the peace fingers and straighten that right leg. Wherever you are though, I'd like no tension. So try to release and soften wherever you are. If the head is turned, bring it back to center, and on the inhale, draw the knees up. Keep that core tight, slightly shift the bum to the left as you allow the knees to lower to the right. Maybe the gaze goes toward the left hand, maybe not. Each side might feel different here, and that's okay. Take several deep breaths. And again, always feel free to pause the video. You can hold these asanas, these poses, as long as you'd like. Maybe close the eyes. If the eyes aren't closed, you're having a hard time focusing, Find a drishti or a focal point somewhere around you, something you can focus on to keep that monkey mind present. If the head is turned, bring it back to center. Engage through the core before lifting the knees back up. And find Viparita Karani. I always like to bring in a block or legs up the invisible wall. You can always move to a wall if that feels better. So we're just sending the legs up toward the ceiling. And try to keep the heels stacked over hips here. Relax the hands. Relax everything. I'm going to come out of the pose. You should hold Viparita Karani at least 3 minutes because it takes 3 minutes for the blood to recirculate back through the entire body. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you go ahead and move into Shavasana. Again, you can pause the video. Find your comfortable resting pose. And if it's not comfortable on your back, lay on your side. Come into Sukhasana, this comfortable, easy, cross-legged seat that I'm in. It doesn't matter. And if you're on your back, bring in a blanket for the pelvis. Maybe bring in a blanket under the head, an eye pillow. It's nice to sometimes bring a bolster in under the legs to kind of take that pressure out of the lower back. So find your resting pose. Get settled. I'm going to turn my air off again because now I'm cold. And go ahead and start to settle in. Start to come back to that breath. Observe what's happening in the mental space and in the physical space. Feel that energy within you, the energy around you, but also the energy within you. Feel that peace, feel that spirit. And just notice your 5 senses. Even with your eyes closed, what do you see? What taste do you have in your mouth? What can you hear around you? What do you smell? Feel that sense of touch. Feel every place in the body that is resting on the mat, on the ground, on the earth beneath you. Feel that sense of touch in each point that is touching. And again, stay in Shavasana as long as you'd like. When you're ready to come out, slowly and gently start to deepen the breath. Begin to make little movements with the body, wiggle fingers, wiggle toes. Maybe extend the arms overhead, stretching from the tippy toes to the fingertips. And then when you're ready, go ahead and roll on to your favorite side, resting the head and the crook of the elbow for just a few more moments. Sometimes people enter our life at a particular time for a particular reason. They may be disruptive or soothing. They may help us or challenge us, but regardless, they get us to a new place. Sometimes we need to be disrupted, and other times we need assistance or support. And we may encounter just the right person to help us make that shift, whether it concerns an exciting new life decision or the realization that we need to let something go. The person may remain in our life or may vanish, but we can be grateful for their having been a catalyst for growth and change. If there's someone who has recently served this purpose for you, offer that person gratitude for helping you grow. We'll meet in Sukhasana. Bring the hands to heart center. Feel the energy through the palms. And bring the hands up to the center of the forehead in honor of mindful thought. to the lips in honor of mindful speech, and back down to heart center, always being mindful of love, kindness, compassion, and empathy for yourself first, and then for all others. May you all be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, and may you live with ease. Let us bow to one another as we say, Namaste. Thank you all so much. Love you all. Hope you are staying sane. I'm sending you lots of hugs and kisses, and I'll see you on the mat next time. Take care. Love you.